Right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? Wow. The NBA, I call the NBA offseason the gift that keeps on giving. The NBA offseason is pretty much over. We're about to transition into the preseason. But we are never short of headlines in this league. And this is a big one out of Minnesota. Jimmy Butler, small forward for that Minnesota T-Wolves team that was bounced in the first round. To me, a very disappointing season for them last year. They lost to the Houston Rockets. The reason why many of us believe the Timberwolves were even the 8th seed, because for the most part of the year, they were around the 3 or 4 seed in the West. But Jimmy Butler got injured with like a month left in the season, somewhere around that. He missed like 2 or 3 weeks, was able to get back in the lineup at the end of the season, make the playoffs. That's how they ended up facing the Houston Rockets. They were the 8th seed. And they got bounced. It was a quick series. And they didn't look good for most of it. Outside of the game that they won, I mean, they pretty much didn't look good for most of that series against the Rockets. And now we're here. Now, I could have told you this. Jimmy Butler doesn't like playing with Andrew Wiggins or Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm going to be honest with you. I know this for sure. He doesn't think either of the two are dogs. He doesn't like playing with Wiggins more than he doesn't like playing with Karl-Anthony Towns. He really does not like Wiggins. Their games don't mesh. Wiggins, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of Wiggins myself, but here's the thing. This is Jimmy Butler's, this will be his 3rd team in about 3 years. It's not a good look that he's getting traded again. He's about to be a free agent after this year. It depends on what happens with the situation. I'm going to get to every little detail here shortly. But Jimmy Butler's like, yo, I can't get along with Wiggins. I don't think he's putting in the work ethic that's needed to win and be an elite team in this league. And he wants out. He wants to be traded. Karl-Anthony Towns, again, Jimmy likes his game much more than he likes Wiggins' game. He knows that he's a star. He just don't think he's a dog. He don't think he's a dog. He don't think he's what it takes to get over the hump in the Western Conference, especially when you got a guy like LeBron coming over, right? And at the bare minimum, even if you don't think Melo is still a star in this league, a star caliber player in this league, he's still a dog, right? So you got dogs coming over into the Western Conference. The Warriors added a dog. They got DeMarcus Cousins. And now you're looking at, shoot, the T-Wolves are in the first round. If they don't play the Rockets, they're going to play the Warriors. If they don't play the Warriors, they're going to play the Lakers. In the first and second round, there's pretty much no way to avoid either of those 3 teams. And they're like, yo, we don't think we have what it takes. Or Jimmy Butler's acknowledging, I don't think we have what it takes to compete because we don't have enough dogs on his roster. And he wants out. He talked to Thibodeau in Los Angeles a few days ago. And he told Thibodeau, I want to be traded. Now, here's the problem with that. Thibodeau does not want to trade Jimmy Butler. We obviously understand that Thibodeau had Jimmy Butler when he first got into the league in Chicago. He went out of his way to trade, 2 first-round picks to get Jimmy Butler back with him in Minnesota, right? Along with Taj Gibson and company. And Tibbs would like, because Tibbs is the VP as well of the Minnesota Timberwolves, he would like to keep this team together. Let's give it 1 healthy year, right? Let's, again, down the stretch, Jimmy Butler did get injured. Let's give it 1 healthy year. Hopefully Jimmy Butler doesn't get injured this year, right? Wiggins maintains his health. And let's give this team 1 healthy year together. Again, Tibbs believes had Jimmy not got injured, they would have been a higher seed and they would have been able to compete and maybe avoid the Houston Rockets, a team that they're just not a good matchup for. And I believe that as well. Butler don't want to wait. He's in the last year of his deal. He could be a free agent this summer. Jimmy Butler, to be honest with you, ideally he wants to play with Kyrie Irving. That's his closest friend in the league. He wants to play with him in Los Angeles. Now, convincing Kyrie to leave Boston is probably going to be difficult. But if Jimmy can't get Kyrie in either Los Angeles or New York, he'd rather just go to the Clippers. That's the #1 team on his wish list. And he'd rather build around Lou Williams and himself. Hope they'll have enough money to go get another top tier free agent guy. Remember, they got rid of DeAndre Jordan. They've gotten rid of Blake Griffin. And they got Lou Williams for a marginally cheap deal. Lou Williams put up 50 last year, right? They got him for a cheap contract, so they're still out and able to go get 1 more max guy this summer. So Jimmy believes he's going to be capable of convincing another free agent to sign. That's why he wants to go ahead and sign his long-term deal with the Clippers. Now, if the Clippers are able to make a trade for Jimmy Butler with the T-Wolves, Jimmy will sign off on a long-term, a 5-year deal. That's what I was told. That's what Woj is reporting. He'll sign off. He'll sign off now. He'll sign off with Doc Rivers and company and Mr. Ballmer and company, the Clippers owner, and he'll go long-term right now. Thing is, if you're the T-Wolves, do you play this thing out at worst case scenario, you trade him at the deadline, or do you get rid of him now? Again, Tibbs is the VP and the coach. He doesn't want to trade him, but the owner feels so disrespected how Jimmy Butler went about this process. He wants Jimmy Butler out this week. He wants a trade done by the end of this week. So if the owner says, I want this guy out, he's the owner of the team, it's going to get done. So Jimmy Butler will be traded this week. As a matter of fact, he was told yesterday not to show up the media day that's happening right now. It's Monday. Jimmy Butler was told to not show up the media day. We're going to get this trade done this week. There are teams calling. I'm going to do other videos. The Miami Heat have been calling. Pat Riley has been aggressively looking to get Jimmy Butler. He's offered up guys like Hassan Whiteside and Dion Waiters, who's coming off an injury plague last year. He missed pretty much all of last season. The T-Wolves want a guy like Josh Richardson in that trade. Winslow maybe as well. Again, the Heat have been reluctant to add those guys in the deal. Hassan Whiteside and Dion Waiters have been guys that the Heat have been shopping this summer. So that's a possibility. The Cavaliers have gotten in the conversation. Dan Gilbert and the Minnesota T-Wolves owner, Glenn Taylor, have had talks in the last few days. They have done business recently, right? Remember, Wiggins got drafted by the Cavaliers, who had the number 1 pick in the draft. He was then traded for Kevin Love. When LeBron came back, he wanted to play with veterans. He didn't want to play with a rookie. A lot of people believe he didn't believe in Andrew Wiggins' game. They think he was a dog, like Jimmy Butler believes. And, the Cavs and T-Wolves have done recent business in the past. Maybe if one of these teams thinks the other team threw them a bone a few years ago, maybe the T-Wolves might help the Cavs out. Give away. This does happen. This does happen all the time in the league. Maybe the T-Wolves, which it doesn't make sense for the team, but maybe they might take a lesser package for the Cavs just to keep that great relationship there as they do business going forward. So we will see. Remember, the Cavs got the 4 straight NBA Finals after they got Kevin Love. Maybe the T-Wolves will return a favor, take a couple picks from Cleveland, and, they just throw Jimmy Butler on that Cavs roster. Maybe. I believe the Heat are going to be the team that get this deal done. Pat Riley is the most aggressive. Jimmy Butler and D Wade, I believe, are close friends. After Jimmy Butler said something about Gabrielle Union, I'm kind of uncertain, but I seen them on stage singing a few weeks ago. So I believe they're still close friends. They go out of the country all the time together, right? And I want to believe that Jimmy Butler was just playing with Gabrielle Union, the wife of Dwayne Wade. So if they're close, what better way than to you got Dwayne Wade? The Miami Heat need to sell tickets, right? You got Dwayne Wade in his last season. He's retiring, right? You got now Jimmy Butler on the team who can kind of get some game from D Wade, how that Miami Heat culture is. They can play it out together last season. If you can keep Hassan Whiteside, trade Dion Waiters and maybe Josh Richardson, get your hands on Jimmy Butler, and maybe that Miami Heat team can compete. The East, Boston is the only certain thing we know in the East right now. I don't know what the heck the Markelle Fultz is going to give the Philadelphia 76ers next year. I like that team a lot. I just don't know what the heck is up with their number 1 pick in Markelle Fultz. Now, outside of one in Boston, the East is wide open. Obviously, I understand that the Kawhi Leonard trade to the Raptors is there. They were the number 1 seed in the East regular season last year. They added a top 5 player in the game. I'm still uncertain on where Kawhi is at physically, his health, all that stuff. I've seen him play this summer. I'm still just not 100% sure, right? So I'm just saying the East is wide open. Maybe Miami can make a push, top 4 seed, add in Jimmy Butler. You got the chemistry with D Wade. They're going to sell more tickets. They'll be a much more exciting team to watch. I've always felt like Miami could use that slasher. That's when, again, D Wade, when he was mandating that team in down South Beach, we understand that Miami crowd is always late. So you kind of need a guy who can go out and get you 10 points, 12 points in the first quarter. Kind of control the game with an empty building. That Miami fan base is always late. If they can get Jimmy B in there, Pat Riley can make a move. Who knows? Who knows how that affects that team? And maybe they're able to be a 2-3 seed in the East. And you know, maybe they avoid Boston somewhere down the line. Somebody beats Boston. East wide open. No LeBron James there anymore. Here's what we know. That Jimmy Butler trade is getting done this week. I'm going to do a plethora of videos on this. We're going to talk about Cleveland trade and what could they possibly be offering the Minnesota T-Wolves for Jimmy Butler. We're going to be talking about, obviously, what the Miami Heat could give. There are a couple other teams. Jimmy Butler does have a short list that does include the Los Angeles Clippers, the Brooklyn Nets, and there are a couple other teams, but those will probably be the top 2 teams, right? He's really wanting to play with the Clippers. Didn't want to be a Laker. Reportedly, he didn't want to play under LeBron James. He's more of a Kyrie guy. But we'll talk about that as well. Jimmy Butler demands a trade out of Minnesota. Does not want to play with Andrew Wiggins anymore. Does not get along with Wiggins. Doesn't love Karl-Anthony Towns. But definitely doesn't fit in with Andrew Wiggins. We will see how this thing shapes up. And we will see what team Jimmy Butler ends up. He's getting traded. It's done. He's done in Minnesota. He'll never play another game in the Minnesota Timberwolves uniform. He won't be around preseason next week. He's getting traded this week. We just got to kind of sort out who he'll be traded to. Whew! The NBA. The offseason that never wants to end. I'm out.